everybody, welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial we are going to learn how to make this nice lacy sleeveless top. It's really nice for summer or for spring, even for early fall. It is a sleeveless top, pretty easy to row repeat. It has a wide neckline, but you are free to modify it into for your own preference. So for the materials that we need to make this top is we need a 4mm hook, weight number 3 yarn. We are going to use this color for the sample. We need yarn needle, tape measure, a stitch marker, and pair of scissors. So you can look in on your screen on the approximate yardage for different sizes. But the sample that we are going to do today, that's size medium. My bust is 38 inches for reference, so this one has about 3 inches more than my normal size bust, so it's a bit over 3 inches of a positive ease. But if you wanted something closer to your body, then you measure the true size of your bust and then divide that by 2, so that you work on the back panel and then the front panel. All right, okay, let's start. Alright guys, we are going to start on our front panel. You are going to do the same, start with the same number of chains that you did on your back panel. And for me, I need to chain 97, which is a size medium top, and I am 38 inches on my bust, so that's half of my bust. I'm going to chain 97. Alright, I got 97 chains here. We are going to start on our first row. We are going to make V stitches on this row. So to start, we are going to make our first V stitch on the 5th chain from the hook. So we are going to count 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th chain make a V stitch. Remember, a V stitch is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet on the same spot or same chain. So I'm done my first V stitch, and then next we are going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, make a V stitch on the next chain, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, again skip 2 chains, and then make a V stitch on the next chain. And this is what we are going to do until we are left with, I think, 2 chains. Right, skip 2 chains again, and then make a V stitch on the 3rd chain. We are going to do the same thing again, skip 2 and then V stitch. So do this until you are left with 2 chains. I'll meet you guys on at the end of this row. let's do our last stitch together. Again, you skip 2 and then you make a V stitch on the next chain. All right, we are left with 2 chains. We are going to make a double crochet on the last chain. Right, so we got our V stitches on the first row. We are going to move into the next row. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and this is considered a stitch. So next, when you get to your third row, you are going to make your stitch on the very top chain of this. All right, we're gonna turn our work. Next, we are going to work 3 double crochets on the chain 1 space. So between the 2 double crochets, we are going to make 3 double crochets. First one, second, and third. We are going to do the same thing, 3 double crochet on the chain 1 space below. And that's basically it, guys. You are going to do this until the end of the row. First double crochet, second double crochet, third double crochet. So you're going to repeat this until the last V stitch. I will meet you guys at the end of our second row. All right, I'm left with few stitches of my 48th row for my back panel. So let's just work these together. We're making 3 double crochet on our V stitch below. My back panel is now done. I measured the part that I've already finished, like one with the 48th row. It measures 22 inches long, so this is how long it's gonna be. But if you wanted it to be maybe a crop top or a tunic length, then you're gonna have to make it a bit longer, so add more rows so that you customize it into what you want. Okay, next we are going to chain 1 and then cut yarn and fasten off, and this will be the end of our back panel. And then next we are going to work on the front panel. We are going to start with the same number of stitches that we did. Remember, you measure your bust and then divide that number by 2, and then you get to figure out the number of stitches you need for the panel. Okay, I'll meet you guys back for the front panel. Alright guys, we are going to start on our front panel. You are going to do the same, start with the same number of chains that you did on your back panel. And for me, I need to chain 97, which is a size medium top, and I am 38 inches on my bust, so that's half of my bust. I'm going to chain 97. Alright, I got 97 chains here. We are going to start on our first row. We are going to make V-stitches on this row. So to start, we are going to make our first V-stitch on the 5th chain from the hook. So we are going to count for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th chain make a V-stitch. Remember, a V-stitch is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet on the same spot or same chain. So I'm done my first V-stitch, and then next we are going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, make a V-stitch on the next chain, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, again skip 2 chains and then make a V-stitch on the next chain. And this is what we are going to do until we are left with, I think, 2 chains. Right, skip 2 chains again and then make a V-stitch on the 3rd chain. We are going to do the same thing again, skip 2 and then V-stitch. So do this until you are left with 2 chains. I'll meet you guys on at the end of this row. Alright, so we are left with 2 chains, so we are going to skip the 1 chain and then make a double crochet on the last chain. So we are done with our row 1. Now let's move to row 2. We are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then turn our work. My yarn is tangled. Okay, so this, remember, counts as a stitch. The chain 3 counts as a stitch. Next we are going to make 3 double crochet stitches on the chain 1 space. 1, 2nd double crochet, 3rd double crochet, and we are going to do the same thing, 2nd double crochet, and 3rd double crochet, and we are going to repeat this until we are left with that 3 chains at the beginning when we started, and then you make a double crochet on top of the 3 chains. a simple 2-row repeat. You can make your top long or short. It all depends on how long you want it to be. So we are going to meet at the end of row 2, which is what we are currently working on right now, and then we will talk about the neck shaping, because with the back panel we were just making a rectangle. There was no shaping, but the front panel we need to have a neck opening. I'll meet you guys at the end of the row. All right, I'm gonna work on the last few stitches here for row 2. Work on 3 double crochets on the V stitch below, and then work double crochet on the last stitch. So these are our 2-row repeats, V stitch and then 3 double crochet on the chain 1 space. You are going to do this until you have the length that you desire, and then next we are going to talk about our neck shaping, and I'm going to use our back panel, my back panel. This one is already done. This helps us to understand better or to visualize how deep we want our neck to be. And for this top, I want my neckline to be 4.5 inches deep. So I have a tape measure here. I'm going to measure from the top and then get to 4.5 inches, which comes about here. I already have a stitch marker here just to give you guys a better idea of where it is, and I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 rows, which gives me the depth of the neck. And I'm going to subtract the 10 rows from the 48 rows that I made on the back panel, which gives me 38. So I need to work 38 rows before I start separating or making my neckline. So I need to work until here, and then from there I need to work on this side. We're going to work separately on both shoulders so that we have a neck opening. So 4.5 inches for me, that's 10 rows. You get to measure your back panel. If you want a shallow neckline, then you get shorter rows, or if you want deeper, then you just measure and then subtract number of rows from your back row to calculate how many rows you need before you get to your neckline. All right guys, so I will meet you on my row 38, and then we can continue to work on our neckline. All right guys, next we are going to make our neckline. I have folded my front panel in half, and it measures about 10.5 inch, and we are going to split our panel so that we have shoulder sides on each side, and then we have a neck opening. So I have 10.5 inches, and I want my shoulder length to be 6 inches. So that's gonna leave me about 4.5 inch, but only folded in half. Remember, if once I open it, then I'm going to have roughly 9 inches of a neck opening. So that's going to be a really wide neck opening. So if you want your neck opening to be a little wide, smaller, then you add more inches so that you have a narrower neckline. But for me, I want a nice and open neckline, so I'm going to just have 6 inches for the shoulders and for me that's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 stitches plus the 10 stitches. I've already put a stitch marker for each side so that they are equal, and then this is how wide my neck is gonna be, which is roughly, yeah, exactly 9 inches. And we're gonna go from there. Remember, I had 38 rows and I need 10 more rows of the shoulders, and it's just going to be like a square. We're just going to continue into the pattern here. So this is where my last stitch is going to be, or maybe on this one, because this is where I'm going to make my double crochet. All right, so we are going to start with the right shoulder because this is how you're going to wear it, and we are going to work our V stitches. Remember, we are working it V stitches on the middle stitches. So I put a stitch marker here, but our last stitch is going to be here because we are going to have a V stitch on here and then skip this one, and then we make a double crochet. So let's start our shoulder. We are going to chain 3 1 2 3, and then turn our work and make our V stitch on the middle stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. You're gonna do this until we get to this stitch marker. So our neckline will be a square. You don't need any shaping. After you start this row, you're just gonna make the number of rows that you need to equal your back panel. I need 48 rows. I've already done 38, so I'm going to make 10 on each shoulder. Okay, we are working on the last V stitch, and then to make our shoulder or stitch straight, we are going to skip this one and then make a double crochet on the next stitch. Remember, we begin and end our rows with a double crochet or a chain 3. Right, we're gonna go next on row 2 for our shoulder. I chained 3, I turn my work, and then we make 3 double crochets on the chain 1 space. I'm working the last double crochet on my chain 3 below. So I'm going to work 8 more rows of this, so it's going to be like just a square like this, and then we're going to move on to the left shoulder, which is going to be the same thing that we did. So I'll meet you guys on the other side when we work on the left shoulder. Alright guys, I am done with my front panel. Here is my neckline. Next we are going to seam our back panels together. So I have the wrong sides facing each other. So if you look closely, it's very nice and neat on one end, and the edges are a bit rough for the 3 double crochet, and this is what I consider the wrong side. So we are going to seam our shoulders together. First we need to make sure that they align properly. Okay, so we got 9 on each end, and then we are going to start on the one next to this guy. Okay, all right, so we are going to insert our needle on both loops of our stitches. I'm gonna go over like that. It's like in a zigzag. So you don't skip any stitch. You make sure you insert your needle on every stitch so that it is nice and neat. So I'm going to do the shoulder and then move to the next shoulder. You guys can do that on your own, and you are welcome to use whichever seaming method you want to use. Some people like to use the whip stitch, or they just use the slip stitch. I just like this because it's less bulky than if I were to use a slip stitch seaming method. Alright guys, so do one shoulder. Ooh, I think I skipped one. Okay, so you're gonna do both shoulders, and then we meet here so that we can work on, okay, I think it's okay, so that we can work on our sides. Next we are going to measure our armpit arm depth, and then we continue working around the top to finish it off. Alright guys, we are moving on to seaming the sides. So we need the armhole depth, and for this pattern I used the craft yarn cancel standard measurements, and these are basically what they are for sizes. Like extra small, your armhole depth would be between 6 and 6.5 inches. For small, that would be 6.5 to 7.5 inches. And for this pattern I went to the biggest size possible for your armhole depth. So for my size, which is medium again, I measured 6.5, which okay, Alright guys, I have my long tail here and I'm going to use it to seam the sides of my top. We are just going to do one side together and then you guys can do the other side all on your own. So I'm going to bring these together. It's a long tail. Okay, so I'm just going to tie a knot just to secure the start of my armpit depth. And then I'm going to do the same thing as I did on top of the shoulders. I'm just gonna start here. Oh, just gonna go this way. So I'm just gonna go along the edges. Make sure your stitches align. Where you have the V stitches, make sure you have the V stitch on the other side so that they are nice and straight. Sorry guys. I am doubling up on this now. Okay, so I'm gonna go in from the inside to the outside. And then we're gonna do the same on so this is pretty easy. Once you get the hang of it, you just go from one stitch from the inside to the outside, so you're making kind of a zigzag motion to seam your top together. So you're gonna do this until we reach the bottom. So I'll see you guys when I get to here. All right, I am working on the very last few stitches for the side of my top. I'm just doing this so that I show you guys how I normally secure my last stitches. Okay, so from here I just use the tail end of the beginning of the top and then tie it up so that it's nice and snug. And sometimes I just go a few stitches up and back just to make sure nothing unravels later. And then I go back down. But you are welcome to do what works for you, right? And then I just cut the yarn. So I am done with one side. I'm gonna do the other side as well, and I'll meet you guys after we are done seaming, and then we can go on to our border. Alright guys, we are done seaming our top. Next we are going to make a border. We are going to start on the neckline. We are going to go around making a single crochet and then we're gonna move to the armhole as well, and then finish off at the bottom. So you can start whichever side you want. My top is still facing the right way, still on the right side, sorry. So I'm just gonna insert my hook right on the on the seam that we did earlier, and I'm going to use the new yarn, pull up a loop, and then chain one. So I'm going to do my stitches going around this way. Let's see what's going on. Okay, I'm going to chain one, and then we are going to make single crochet along each of these stitches because we have double crochet. It's a long stitch, so we are going to make 2 double crochet along the edges. I'm gonna make my first single crochet and then insert the hook again, single crochet. I hope you guys can see this. Let me just try and get closer. So here I'm gonna insert my hook here, single crochet, and then into the same right at the bottom I'm gonna insert my hook, do single crochet. So along the edges here you are going to make 2 single crochet on each stitch, which is the double crochet. So we make single crochet around our neckline. You're just going to distribute the stitches around so that they look neat. So this is a double crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook at the top and at the bottom. So we make 2 double crochet along the double crochet or along the 3 chains. So I'm gonna do double crochet, double crochet. If you make 3 double crochets, it's going to ruffle and it's not going to look neat. So you just have to make sure you are careful where you insert your stitches. You see how far it looks, how it looks so far. It's not overstretched or it doesn't look bunched up as if there are lots of stitches on one place, right? And then when we get here we are just going to make a single crochet on each stitch because this one is fairly easy. You don't have to try and spread our stitches around. We're just going to make a single crochet on each of the stitches available for us. You are going to do this around your neckline. Once again guys, when we get here and even there, you are working a single crochet on each of these. But when you get to the edges here, if you look closely, this is where we did the double crochet. So you are going to insert the hook on two of these so that you have two single crochet on the double crochet that we have here. And then with this one, it was 3 chains. You're going to insert your hook here and here, and then you have 2 single crochets along the edge here. So go around, and then I will meet you guys after we have done our neckline. All right, I am getting closer to the neckline, end of the neckline. These are just a few stitches before we get to the end. So this is the very first stitch that I did. I'm just gonna insert the hook on the last stitch here, and then insert the hook on both loops, and then pull up a loop, just make a slip stitch, and then we cut the yarn and fasten off. So I'm going to weave in the ends later. So this is how our neckline looks after our border. So it makes it nice and clean. The edges are nice and neat. There are no unevenness of the stitches. And then next we are going to move to the armhole depth. We are going to do the same thing. Start at the bottom of the armpit, go around like this, and remember, you see how edgy it is. We are going to just work this so that it's nice and neat like this. It's going to be nice and straight. Remember guys, because this is the double crochet, it's a long stitch, so you are going to make two single crochet along the edge of each stitch. For this one, you just have to make sure you evenly insert the hook around so that none of them look stretched or bunched up. So you are going to go around doing the same thing. All right, I'm just gonna start with you on this one. I'm just inserting the hook right on the first double crochet or the edge. All right, and I'm going to pull up a loop and then chain 1. I'm just gonna hold this and then carry it along so that it just blends in with my work. So I'm going to do single crochet right on the same here, the same stitch, single crochet, and then do 2 single crochet on this stitch. Okay, so I'm done with this 2. Moving on to this one. So I'm inserting the hook in here, and make a single crochet. I'm going to insert the hook on the second. So you're going around just doing that. You just evenly insert the hook around the edges. See how it looks so far? So you're gonna go around doing the same thing. 2 single crochet along the edge. We are making 2 single crochet because double crochet is a long stitch. So we are going to do that so that it's nice and even. So do this around, guys, and then go on the next armhole depth and do the same thing. You are doing this with the right side facing you all the time, because if you look closely, this and this doesn't look the same. So you want all these ridges to be on the wrong side, and this would be on the right, so it's nice and neat, because this is how you're gonna wear your top. All right, so go around, make single crochet, go to the next side, do the same thing, and then I'll meet you guys when we get to the bottom edge. All right, guys, we are done with the borders for the armholes. I'm assuming you have done both. Next, we are going to the bottom of our top. So you choose whichever side you want to start with. I'm going to start with this one for myself, and then I'm going to go around. We are going to do the same thing that we did on the neckline or around the arms. So I'm going to insert my hook and pull up a loop. Just hold this nice and tight, chain 1, and then I am going to make single crochet on each of the stitches that we have here. You don't have to figure a lot with the bottom one because you already have the stitches for you. All you need to do is just to insert the hook on each stitch and make a single crochet. So if you started with, if you have let's say 60 stitches, so you should have 60 single crochet for each panel. Just giving you an example. So this is it, guys. We are almost done. You're going to work single crochet around the bottom of your top. I'll meet you guys at the end of this round. With this, you are just going to make a continuous round. Even when you get to where you made your seaming, you're just going to work over those seams. I don't know what they're called. Yeah, so you're going to work in the round, go around single crochet on each stitch. All right, we are coming to the end of our tutorial. Last few stitches. Just like to add in one more just to make sure it's not tight at the bottom. And then I am going to join my last stitch to the very first one with a slip stitch, and then I'm going to cut the yarn and fasten up. So all I need to do is to weave in the ends, all these loose ends, weave them in, cut them up, and we are all done, guys. Congratulations. I hope you had fun making this easy summery lace top. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. If you have subscribed already, give this video a thumbs up. Please share it with your friends and your family. I would love to see your top, your project, so please tag me on Instagram. You can also join my Facebook group under with the handle Crochet Essentials. You can also find me on Instagram, Crochet Essentials. Share your makes and I'll be sure to feature your project. Congratulations. See you on the next video.